Hey everyone, it's Zephyrna, and today I don't have a script and just kind of wanted to talk about what happened when everything went to the central marketplace and the coursers got changed in price. Basically, the horse marketplace has kind of been a complete shit show ever since the courser change. And I just kind of wanted to show you guys how the hell Pearl Abyss fucked this up. But it used to be that the tier 8 horses were super rare and they flew off the marketplace pretty quickly. Even if your horse had no breedings, it was level 30, it had some deaths. Courser or not, the tier 8s were for the most part gone off the marketplace pretty quickly. It might take a day or two, but they would eventually sell. I had a tier 8 stallion, both breedings, and he wasn't fully leveled, but I was hoping that would entice somebody who was trying to do some skill changes if they wanted to try to go for courser. He was up on the marketplace for probably almost a week, and he never sold, and so now I'm just using him for breedings, and then I'm going to sell him to the glue factory. But it's really sad because a lot of trainers make their money off of breeding those tier 8s and then selling them. But there are so many tier 8s on the marketplace that it's impossible to sell them anymore, even if they're coursers. I mean, just looking at this, like going super far back in the log, there are tons of coursers on the marketplace who are just sitting there because nobody can afford to buy them. And not to mention, there is a million of them. So there's 114 pages of tier 8 horses on the marketplace. The pricing for the non-coursers isn't bad, and I can understand a fully leveled horse with not that many skills and no breedings sitting on the marketplace and nobody wanting to buy it. But you have a level 29 male with 2 breedings left. He's got special sideways. Why has he been on the marketplace forever? Like, this would be a good courser project. If you were looking to not spend the nearly 1 billion silver for a courser, then it would be a pretty easy switch for that horse, but yet he's on one of the last pages in the marketplace, and no one is going to get that far back to find him and use him for breedings, or to change and swap out to get him to be a courser. So the tier 8s are completely screwed. It's nearly impossible to sell dreams anymore. I am, however, glad for that, though, because they're on the marketplace. You can buy them if you save up the money for them, and they actually have a price that they're worth. That 3 4 million that 3 or 4 billion that they were selling for before was just not worth selling, and so people held on to them even if they didn't want them. So now that the market has changed, we're seeing a lot of dream horses come up on the marketplace, and they're sitting there, which I guess I don't have a super big problem with. I guess my biggest problem is how flooded the tier 8 marketplace is, because it is impossible to sell these horses. And that is bread and butter for most trainers. So if you have a tier 8, your best bet would probably just be to train it up and breed it out and then sell it for glue and seals so that you can get tier 9 materials if that's something you're going for. But if you were using it as some sort of way to earn money, there's really no way to earn money breeding tier 8 horses anymore. And then, not to mention the lower tiered horses, coursers are stupid amounts of money at the lower tiers. Like, if you have a tier 6 courser, 151 million. That's as much as a tier 8 non-courser. don't get me wrong, that's a hell of a nice horse. It has two-seater, sideways, sprint, instant excel. All of this is trained up. This is a nice horse, but it's not breedable. It's not able to be reset. You can never get a foal out of this mare, and it's 151 million, which you can get a tier 8 for. So the courser prices, although nice for the tier 8 coursers, because if you're going to spend actual money on getting them to be coursers, you should get a good amount of silver out of it instead of just the 151 million that non-coursers were selling for before. But for the lower tiers, it makes them almost a liability. You have to sell them to the glue factory in order to get rid of them and to get any money out of them. So the horse market has kind of been destroyed by this change, and it's absolutely flooded with horses that aren't selling. Pages upon pages, especially those tier 8s. And tier 7s were always bad. They were always impossible to sell. So this change definitely does not make that any better. I have not attempted to sell a tier 7 on the marketplace in probably a year, just because it has never been, there has never been a market for tier 7s unless you were willing to throw them up there with breedings and fully leveled. And if it's a courser, even better, but I mean, again, you don't want to spend over 311 million on a courser tier 7 female if you can just breed it from a lower level and try and raise it up yourself. So I guess there's a lot of things wrong with this marketplace, and I hope that it levels out here soon, but for now it's been completely and utterly destroyed. Not to mention that the central marketplace, the prices fluctuate so rapidly with the way the central marketplace is set up that it's nearly impossible to buy tier 9 materials for a reasonable amount of silver.
You can entrust your goods without worry, since it's an official trade zone approved by the head of the Merchant Guild.
Because they're going, for each one, they're going for about 2 million right now. And I mean, there's actual resources on the marketplace, so there's stuff sitting there so you can buy them if you want, but I mean, if you're gonna be buying 100 of them for an attempt, you know, you're gonna spend most of your bank account just trying to pay for one part of the training process. Like, if you fill up the agility with your stone-tail fodder for 204 million silver, and that's even below where most of these are listed at. Most of them are listed for more, so if you found the ones where they're mostly listed at, it's even more. I'm hoping that these prices level out soon, and that the horse market will be more reasonable soon, and it will become a less hostile environment for the horse trainers. But it may be a while before we get to see any sort of level prices in the marketplace anymore, and we get to see tier 8 selling again. But that's your current look at the marketplace, I suppose, and how Pearl Abyss completely fucked it up.